What is up, my friends? How are we? It is Saturday night and you are very welcome along to, well, a show that wasn't supposed to happen. But, of course, typical day off and the news break. So, we got to Here We Go. So, we're going to discuss that. We're also going to discuss the new contract for Conor Bradley. We're going to discuss the money being there for Florian Wirtz and lots more to come over the course of the next 90 minutes or so. So, yeah, how are we all? Enjoying the fine weather? Tasty FA Cup final as well. Congratulations to Crystal Palace. It was a deserved victory, in all honesty. And does it make me sad that City lost? No, not even a little bit. Well done to Eze on his goal. Very well taken. Pep being salty as always on the pitch afterwards just makes it that little bit sweeter. So we're going to be discussing João Pedro, Jeremie Frimpong, Harvey Elliott, Conor Bradley, and lots more over the course of the next few minutes or so, or hours or so. Right, there was a super chat I missed just before we went live. Aaron, thank you, bro. Appreciate you. And by the way, on the theme song thing, I know there's always comments. Some people that like it, some people that don't like it. I understand, and I try to mix it up. Sometimes I put them on, put the theme song on. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's honestly just me trying to prepare stuff in the background in a scramble for the last couple of minutes while that song is on. So if everybody wants it gone, no problem. We can get it gone whatsoever. But appreciate you all being with me nonetheless. Aaron, thank you as well, my man. Hope you're having a lovely weekend. I'm in great form today, I have to say. I knew we'd get to Here We Go soon, but of course, typical me, when it's time for me to take a day off, it arrives. But you know what? I'd rather it arrived than it didn't. So let's get stuck into it. Right, the legend. How are we? Gotta say, that's obvious. Congrats to Palace. Yeah, it is a very well-deserved win, and you could see quite what it meant to the chairman, the players, the fans. Honestly, it was a beautiful sight. I know we were on the end of a defeat to Newcastle as well, but you can see what both sets of fans, what it meant to them winning the cups, you know. So fair play to both clubs. An FA Cup victory that wasn't probably on the cards, that people didn't see coming. Newcastle with the League Cup, the Reds with the Premier League. It really has been the season of the underdogs to some extent. And yeah, fair play to Crystal Palace and Oliver Glasner. Ashton. Is it Ashton? Yes, it is. Ashton Ratcliffe said, there's only one Crystal Palace, Pep Future. I don't know, but Haaland needs to start discovering how to score in a final, doesn't he? He really has not shown up at Wembley for Manchester City at all. And I can't say I'm not delighted the Palace won it. I am. I absolutely am. I leapt up out of my chair like everybody else when the final whistle went. But look, shall we start off with the good stuff? No time to hang around tonight. Let's get straight into it. So what we knew yesterday was that Liverpool were getting closer. We knew that they were going to trigger the clause. We knew that it was only a matter of time, but we were worried. We were worried from the outside that maybe will we see a Barcelona move right at the end? And the answer to that is no. So these words that we waited for, the Here We Go, Fabrizio Romano posted earlier on to say, Jeremie Frimpong set to join Liverpool. Here we go. On top of that, he said agreement done for the Dutch right back as Leverkusen are informed that Liverpool will trigger the release clause. Understand Frimpong will sign a 5-year deal, medical now being scheduled, and he will be on Merseyside in the next 48 hours or so. And just to show you that I can play fair, credit to David Lynch on that one. He was the one that called 48 hours for Frimpong and his medical. And let's hope it all goes well. So, as you can see, I'm always happy to give credit where it's due. And I'm delighted on this one. Absolutely delighted to see that Liverpool have gotten over the line so quickly. And on the day as well, where we got the announcement of our other young right back. And let's not forget about him, Conor Bradley, today signed terms with Liverpool Football Club as well to increase his stay here by at least another 4 years. So a massive congratulations to Conor Bradley on a very well-deserved new deal. Ashton said, who thought Dean Henderson should have got player of the match? He should have he should have had a booking at least, but obviously VAR can't bring him back for a booking, but he did handle the ball outside the box, but it was never a red card. In all honesty, it wasn't. Lequat, I think it was behind him. But yeah, he put in a very good game, and Palace just were not to be denied today, were they? So, are we happy about Frimpong? It is one area that's boxed off now, and have to say I'm buzzing about it. The idea of him coming in to bring that energy again down the right hand side, I think it's gone for his medical. The Bundesliga finished today, so he'll come over to Liverpool. It'll get sorted really quickly, and YouTube also need to start sorting out YouTube because these glitches are annoying the hell out of me because it's got nothing to do with us. But anyway, sorry, I digress. Let's get into the chat and see how everyone's feeling. Uh, even if his source was wrong. Look, honestly, it happens to everyone. Look, I've seen a lot of people giving him a lot of stick today, and I just want to say, don't be doing it from our regard. I like a little bit of banter as much as anybody else, but it happens. Genuinely, it happens. I've been told stuff before from people that I would deem very credible, and it hasn't happened. Romano gets it wrong occasionally. Ornstein gets it wrong occasionally. Honestly, I hope he doesn't feel it's anything other than a bit of banter coming back across because, look, as I've said many times, and I can only repeat this, we don't get on anymore, but I don't wish him any badness whatsoever. He isn't a bad fella. And yeah, he got this one wrong, but on screen, work you get, work. I'm going to have to sign out and sign back in on this one. Mate, bear with me. I'm trying to refresh my back-end system here that's not playing ball. Will it work? No, of course. Oh, there we go. There we go. I think our leadership view WIRTZ as the next number 9 with a striker with the striker market like last summer said it was only game changers. I am trying to figure that one out, to be honest with you, my man. I'm trying to figure out if we are going to see him brought in. Nope, still not working for me. What is going on here with the background? 1 sec. I'm going to have to sign out and back in. Sorry, folks. I don't know why, but the back-end system is glitching here for me, which I always find frustrating. Let's have a look-see. Right, let's see if we can fix it now. Is it on? And is it off? Yes, there we go. She's working. Happy days. And thank you, Chase, on that one. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, mate, if we are going to look ahead to a number 9 or not, if we can get WIRTZ. But while we're speaking about WIRTZ, it has been confirmed today by Lewis Steele that the money is there for Liverpool to sign Florian WIRTZ. Now, the money is one thing, but we do have to get the nod from the player and his camp. So we'll adhere to bring you that news as and when we get it. But confirmation from Lewis Steele and a few others, to be fair, that the money is there for Liverpool. Now, let's hope that we can kick on and really, really build something special for next season. Jordan said, happy first anniversary, Craig. Love you. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. Glad it's possible transfer news that stopped you having a day off for the 4th time in a row. Do you know what, though? As I always say, it doesn't feel like work, man. Coming on here to chat with all of you guys and girls, it's not work. It's a pleasure. Oh, and also, so as I mentioned before previously, I am on Cameo, and I actually got to say the C word on Cameo today. Somebody actually requested a cameo where I call somebody the C word. It was like an excitable child here. It was my favourite video I've ever made. So thank you to that person for letting me call somebody the C word and requesting it. Any more news on Rodrigo? Keep up the good work. Nothing new that I've seen. Honestly, mate, nothing new yet. I think we're going to have to wait and see what happens with WIRTZ. If Florian WIRTZ says he's staying in Germany, then maybe we look at another target. But right now, I think in that position, Liverpool are sitting back a bit and kind of seeing what the market dictates. Phil, so get this, Dean Henderson left United in pursuit of trophies. My God, how they've fallen. They have. And congratulations to Palace, you said, joking aside. Yeah. They've fallen away, and look, them and Spurs have had just a horrendous season in the Premier League, haven't they? Just completely fallen off. So, let's get stuck into the Conor Bradley stuff. Let's talk about Conor Bradley for a second, because Conor Bradley's had some words to say after agreeing that new Liverpool deal and signing that new Liverpool contract that will keep him here for at least another 4 years. He said, we want to make this continued success. We don't want to just have a Premier League trophy. We want to have multiple, and we want Champions Leagues and FA Cups and Carabao Cups. We've just got to keep being hungry for more success, and I'm pretty sure with this squad we will. He went on to say, to achieve all the things I've achieved with the club to this date is pretty special. I just want to keep making more memories together and keep it going. And we want you to keep making them memories as well, young Conor. So, right-hand side boxed off. We need a left back to bring in the left-hand side, and we'll get that one sorted out soon, I hope. It is looking very firmly like Kirkes is the number 1 target, but will there be a sticking point with Bournemouth over the fee? £45 million is apparently what they're asking. Jen, you know you never have to thank me for anything. Appreciate you. Yeah, YouTube has been bugging and glitching lately, and it isn't at our end, it's at a YouTube end, and I wish they could hurry up and sort it out. But thank you, Jen. Appreciate you always. Sean Said Craig, thanks for all that you do. Do love our streams. Please don't ever feel like you guys need to thank me on anything. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you guys. Can the day be any better? City losing in the cup final. Here we go for Frimpong. Shouldn't laugh, but least we forget. The champions! No, we shouldn't laugh, but, you know, I think we'll all be allowed a little wry smile today. By the way, congratulations to Sporting Lisbon as well. They've just won the Portuguese Primeira Division. So congratulations to them. Paul Smith said, Dear Craig, who is our striker? Don't know. And that's the honest answer. I have no idea who the preference is through the middle. For instance, the conversation earlier on about WIRTZ. I don't know if we got WIRTZ, would that alter how Liverpool want to pursue in the number 9? I really don't know. Would we play a false 9? Let me just pitch you a scenario, just because it kind of fell into our lap today. So let's say that Liverpool did sign... Did I say Havertz? Because I've been saying Havertz all day. Let's say Liverpool did sign Florian Wirtz. Let's say, for instance, that we were able to get that deal done. Well, the asking price for João Pedro has dramatically changed. And I'm wondering, would this change your view of a possible signing of him? So a report earlier on in the Telegraph said that Liverpool could be a team to keep an eye on when it comes to João Pedro of Brighton. They say that he is available for about £30 million. Now, you can read back a few months ago, there were stories quoting 100 million. At 30 million, if we were to bring in a Florian Wirtz or somebody like that, it would make far more sense to me at that point. Look, I'm a realist. Like I've always said, I don't want our owners and our club to just go out there and piss away money for the sake of it. If we were to bring in Wirtz and we had to pare back through the centre a little bit with somebody like a João Pedro or somebody like Kasa, who the manager said in the late last night in the embargoed section of the press conference will be around for next season. So what would you do? Would you take it? If you got Wirtz, would you take João Pedro as an attacking option? If Kiesa's staying around, then we'd have Gakpo, Diaz if he stays, Jota, João Pedro. In this scenario, Florian Wirtz, Mohamed Salah, some pretty good options, and young Jayden Dan's coming through as well. Stevie boy, how are you, bro? Said, any news on centre-backs and also any updates on Canade? Nothing. At least for me, mate, I've got nothing for you on Canade at the minute. I really just haven't getting good vibes off it, though. I haven't. Now, it doesn't mean anything. That's just, you know, me being a bit of a worrier. So, let me give you another update here. Credit the lads at LFC Transfer Room for posting this from Sky Germany. Manchester City and Liverpool are still there in the WIRTZ race and want to stay involved as long as WIRTZ hasn't signed for Bayern. Both clubs planning to submit offers as well. So, let's wait and see on that one. It will be very interesting if he doesn't stay in Germany. What happens between Liverpool and Man City? Again, what can City throw at him? Money, probably. Let's be honest about it. Money. Tradition? No. Premier League champions? Well, not this season. But look, if you look at the two projects and you look at the two clubs, I think it's fair to say there's some question marks over Manchester City and how they're going to be next season. They finished trophyless this season. They still have work to do to make sure they're in the Champions League. You'd have to say Liverpool a club on the up and up. Look, I know going and working with Pep Guardiola would be something that would appeal to a lot of football players. I'm not an idiot. I totally understand that. But how much longer is he going to be there? You know, will he see out the 2 years that he signed on for? What if the charges come and hit? These are all things that I think we need to keep in our minds while we wait and see what happens. And look, unfortunately with WIRTZ, it does feel like the waiting game has started. I'm sure he's going to sit down with Leverkusen officials over the next few days and talk about what he wants to do. To my understanding, he's not going to stay at Leverkusen. Whether he goes to Bayern or not remains to be seen. Right, let's talk about Danny Agger. I know, weird one. Weren't expecting me to come out with that one, were you? But Danny Agger, former Liverpool player, claims that he will be present in Anfield for the title lift. And he said, I just have to go over and feel the atmosphere, be in the stadium and see them lift the trophy. We've always known how much the club means to Danny Agger. But again, great to see him coming across for the trophy lift and to enjoy it. I'm sure he'll be very welcome inside Anfield as well. Craig, I can see a poll for that one. Which one? Which one? Okay, let me. I think I know where you're going with it, my man. Let me just get the poll together. 1 second. So, Right, so the question that I'm going to ask is, if we signed WIRTZ, would you be happy with João Pedro? And obviously what I mean by that is, money-wise, we probably wouldn't be able to throw another 100 mil at a striker. So let's say in this great scenario, we end up with Florian Wirtz. Would you be happy with João Pedro? Now, João Pedro's been a name that has come up a lot over the last year or so, if you take a look back over the media. Lots of people say that he scores very highly with regards to the analysis of his pressing and all the things that the Boffins at the club would look for in a player. He ticks a lot of those boxes. Look, I think he's a good footballer. This season he's had some injury concerns, I believe. But I wouldn't be happy unless we had somebody like a WIRTZ. And by the way, who was it earlier on? It was a former Liverpool player. I'm not sure if it was Pennant or somebody said that they wouldn't be excited about the signing of a Florian Wirtz. That it isn't a name that would make you go, wow. So they said something like, if it was Isak, we'd all be all over the place. Wow, what a signing, amazing. But if it was Wirtz, it would kind of be like, meh, really? Really? If Liverpool signed Florian Wirtz, I can tell you Reds would be pretty damn happy about it. Nick said, new song for Frimpong will have to be Dr. Dre, Keep the Heads Ringing. I love that song, man. That brings me back to when I was younger. Ring Dig Dong. Here's Jeremie Frimpong. I don't know, man. You'll have to discuss that with the cop, but I could be on board with it, mate. I love a bit of Dre, so yeah, why not? Right, so do vote away on that poll. No, there's no more me eating broccoli, J Muse. It's not going to happen again. You know, you're not luring me into this one again. No way. No broccoli, not happening. I've done it. Never again. You know, the next time for me to eat broccoli, it'll have to be when I'm accepting an Oscar or something like that. Maybe. What's this one that Mark's saying to me? So, Liverpool are yet to table a firm offer for Milos Kerkez, reports the newspaper, saying the Premier League champions are also considering Joel Haddo, who would be available for less. But see, this is where I'd start to get a bit concerned. The best option is Kerkez, in my opinion. So, the lesser money option shouldn't really be evaluated unless the first option isn't feasible. And by feasible, I mean that they won't sell. Liverpool have had long enough now to hone in on who they want to be that left-back target. And surely is Kerkez at this point. It'll feel like a disappointment to me if we didn't get Kerkez. Not to rain on the parade of Joel Haddo at all, but I've always said I believe Haddo's future in the game will be at centre-back. Wirtz, best young midfielder in the world, said Jay Muse. Only if he comes to us. If he goes to Man City, he's a hype job. Do you know what I mean? Haddo would be a good buy, said Alex Macklin. Get Kerkez and Haddo, said Nomad. It could happen if Liverpool lost a centre-back. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, give me a number in the chat of how concerned you are about the Canade situation. 10 being, I'm really concerned. 1 being, cool beans, nothing happening. Let me know. Just throw me a number into the chat. 1, all cool and calm about it. 10, really stressed about it. Let me know where you're at. I'm probably at a 7 at this point, because I don't think I'll ever get to a 10 with Canade, because like some of you guys have kind of intimated as well, it would be unwelcome. But it wouldn't be the end of the world, in my opinion, if we lost them. You know, I wouldn't put them up there with a losing Virgil or a losing Mo or an Allison or something like that. But it would still be a significant loss, and one that I'd rather didn't happen. So let's have a look-see through some of your comments. Let's dip in and see where we are. So a 5 for Simon Jones. A 1 for Paul. He'd be nice and calm about it. Nice. Phil Singh, 7. Stressed. Stuart Andrew said 7. Right. Mike, 9. TOTT2KZ1. You're nice and calm, mate, with a 1. Yeah, I wish I was that calm. Joy, K, with a 6. Farron Din with a 6 as well. The Copite, 6. JVL, 15. 10. Yeah, I'm probably the 7, as I've said, but I'd rather we didn't have to part ways. But I do think we will see an answer to this one soon enough. So what we won't allow happen is Canada to run down his deal. Madrid can forget about that if that's what the plan is. For me now, if I'm trying to predict what I think happens, it'll either be PSG come in with an offer. Don't know whether Liverpool accept it or not. But if the player isn't going to take a new contract and an offer comes in, the sensible thing to do would be to sell and do it quickly so you have enough time to go out there into the window and get replacements. But again, got to reiterate, not trying to wish Canada away one bit. Really want them to stay, but not going through another situation where we have a player's contract running down. Kean said, Chelsea fan, can we come together as rivals to laugh at City and more importantly, celebrate Palace? Deal, mate. We can cease hostilities just for the moment to have a little chuckle at the blue side of Manchester. And by the way, did you see the real Guardiola coming out again on the pitch afterwards? Snidey little twat out there arguing with Dean Henderson as well. Always the truth comes out. It's easy to be charming and nice when you're winning stuff and you've got blank checkbooks. But when you're up against it, you always see the Artetas of this world, the Guardiolas of this world, show that snidey streak. And they should have that snide streak. As a manager, I think all great managers have that streak. But they're not always the shining, virtuous examples. When he's not spitting, he's usually spitting fire. There you go, dad joke 101. Right, Lafitte said, hey Craig, do you feel like we can sign WIRTZ as our 9? I wouldn't want to guess what the plan would be if we signed him. Like, do I see a world where he could be a false 9? Absolutely. But do I know definitively what the plan would be? No, don't have a clue. It would be an exciting one though, and it would be a massive statement if Liverpool were to do that. So we've just triggered the Frimpong clause. So that's what, £30 million that Liverpool have spent. I believe he's going to sign a 5-year contract that will keep him here until 2030. On top of that, look, it's going to be interesting to see how much money we bring in this summer. Let's talk about Harvey Elliott then for a minute, because there's been more reports today of significant interest in him from Wolves. So this piece here from Give Me Sports said Wolves are stepping up their attempts to sign Harvey Elliott. I just can't see him in a Wolves shirt. I think he could look a little bit higher than Wolves, with all due respect to Wolves, who are, a storied club, but I think he should be looking a little bit higher there for me. Would there be chance of a move back to Fulham? Maybe that would suit. Certainly know that Eddie Howe is a fan of Elliott's, and I could definitely see him up at Newcastle. I think the Newcastle fans would love him. And I say this with a heavy heart, because again, I don't want to sell Elliott, but, it looks as if maybe the manager does. I don't know. We'll soon find out, but lots of interest in him. And I've not seen too many people really deny that there's a chance he could be sold. Right, so we're going to keep the poll running a little bit longer. We've already had over 1,000 votes on it, so thank you to everyone that's voted. So the question is, if we signed WIRTZ, would you be happy with João Pedro? Adrian, Frimpong's number should be 99. I see what you've done there, sir. Well played. What will his number be? If you were to have a guess, what do we think he's going to take as his number? Jeremie Frimpong. It's not going to be 66 anyway, is it? Do you know what else felt really strange today, watching that Palace FA Cup win? Seeing Kleiny getting the FA Cup winners medal. Almost forgot that he existed, to be honest with you. And seeing him climb up those steps today with the Palace players to get a medal just made me kind of go, there you go. And Chilwell as well, went on loan, gets an FA Cup medal. King 7th said, who do you think we sign next? Oh God, it's a good question. I don't know. I'm sitting here turning over in the old brain trying to figure out what I think would be likely. And honestly, I don't know. Because I don't know if they want to push and really try and bang the drum for Kirkes. I don't know if they need to move quickly and they want to go and look at Haddo. I think the next thing on the to-do list should be to figure out the end point of Canade's situation. So I'm hoping that the next signing the club make is Ibrahim Kanade to a new deal. So that should be the priority for me right now. And I think we'd want an answer to that over the next couple of weeks anyway. Before the trophy's lifted, I think, even if it's privately, I'd want the Ibrahima Konate situation to be sorted. Patrick said, I'd pay money to watch City's downfall again. So would I. Look, mate, I went in, I had no hopes going into that game today. I thought City were going to win it. I wanted Palace to win it. Palace went 1-0 up, and I thought, right, City have a long time to get back into this. And then Palace had a goal ruled out as well. Obviously, City missed a penalty. And look, again, goal ruled out was correct, but you just think, oh, it's all set up this, isn't it, for a late Manchester City heartbreaking equaliser. And then that young lad, Echeverria, is that the guy who came off the bench? He had a chance to do it. Was it McAtee? The other guy had a chance to do it as well. And it just felt like not going to be their day. And then the 10 minutes of stoppage time, you're thinking, all right, look, probably right that there was that long because there was a lot of stoppages. But everything just felt like we were going to build up to a late City equaliser. And I was just so happy. So happy, not just in a shithouse kind of way for not wanting City to win at him, but just for the good of football. It's lovely to see. Like, if Liverpool don't win a trophy, you're probably like me, I guess, and you look around and you think, yeah, let the Newcastles of this world or the Crystal Palaces have a bit of silverware. It's lovely to see it being shared around. You always want Liverpool to win, but if we can't win, a minnow, with due respect, to the first major trophy of Crystal Palace's existence, brilliant news. Newcastle, you could see what it meant to both those sets of fans. And I think it's good for the game. And they certainly were loud inside Wembley. My goodness, those Palace fans know how to make a noise. Right. 22 months with us as a member, my man. 22 months, thank you. When is the last time we signed a player before the season ended? Hopefully more good things to come. Love to you and the family. Can't wait to see you, mate. Thank you so much, my man. And thank you for the review as well on Cameo. Appreciate it. Really helps. I'm sure there's been times before we've had a signing in the bag before the season ended, but definitely feels like this was a PR reaction, doesn't it? And I don't mean that we wouldn't have signed Frimpong anyway. I mean, it feels like we need to make a statement before the end of the season that, okay, we've lost the young Scouser, but we've already got the next star on that right-hand side brought in and boxed off. You know, we do love our release clause. We know that as well. This can be paid, I think, 4 installments. Also today, I'm sure you've seen, but Dean Huijsen is signed for Real Madrid. So that's that one gone. And look, he didn't go to a rival in the Premier League, but he did go over to a European rival. But I can understand it from his perspective. Just become a full Spanish international and now goes and plays for Real Madrid and will be playing in the Club World Cup. So it is what it is there. Carlos, how are you, my friend? And thank you so much for your super chat, my man. Hi, Craig. Hope you're doing well. Great win for Palace today. Best channel. My favourite person to watch about Liverpool news. Don't take no bull. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Look, the outpouring of love over the last few days, man, has been so amazing. And yeah, I can only say thank you because this all feels like a dream to me. I shouldn't be here. Somebody else should be in this seat. I don't feel deserving of the kindness that people show. What's a realistic summer window, and how much do you think we realistically spend? Thank you, Jai, for the question. What's a realistic window? Well, we've done a right back. We've got a keeper coming in. So, 1 centre-back if we renew Konate, 2 centre-backs if we don't renew Konate, a left-back with Costas to be sold. Kelleher will probably move on as well. Into midfield, that's one area, mate, I'm really struggling to figure out. So there's been lots of links to defensive midfielders, attacking midfielders, creative midfielders, and I don't know how serious that a priority that would be. So I think we need a striker, 100%. And look, if I'm being honest, I'd sell Diogo Jota and Darwin. I've said this all the way through. So I think it could depend on what happens with, I was going to say Havertz again, with Florian Wirtz. If we can get Wirtz, it might change the direction of the way that we go about building the attack or the way that we go about reinforcing the attack. But I don't know, man. I don't know, but I am excited that we've gotten off to a good start and hopefully we back this up with some more good news in the window. Right, so we've had nearly 1,500 votes and we asked everybody if we signed Florian Wirtz, and definitely not Kai Havertz. Would you be happy with João Pedro? Just need 15 more votes, and then we will knock this one on the head and give you the result. And I'm a little bit surprised by the answer, to be fair, ladies and gents. Pleasantly surprised, I should say. So, one sec, just nearly there. Right, there we go. So, 69%. Now, you thought it, not me. 69% of you guys and girls said yes, you would be happy with João Pedro if it was, again, I was about to say Havertz, Florian Wirtz that was brought in. Michael Rowland said, I've always liked Frimpong, so happy. Faceu said, why not Jamal Musiala? Because he just signed a new deal with Bayern Munich, mate, over the last couple of months. So it won't be Jamal Musiala. He's an incredible player, by the way. But he did sign the new deal. Bayern managed to renew Jamal Musiala. Who's the other ones they did? Kimmich. And I think, I'm not sure, there was one or two more. Bayern, I think, did 4 contract renewals. And he was one of them. Where did I click with this one? So, do you see signing Wirtz, Alvarez and Kirkes this window? Or do you expect less money to be spent? Mate, I would bite your hand off for that window. Throw in a centre-back signing there and I would bite your hand off. That would be wet dream kind of stuff, mate. With all due respect, that would be incredible. I don't see us spending that much money, but can you imagine? I'd go as far as to say, Bert, if we ended this window with a centre-back in, Alvarez, Wirtz, Kirkes and Frimpong, I'm saying we're talking big trophies for a fair few years. That would make us favourites, in my opinion, for the Premier League without a doubt. And I go as far as to say we should probably be favourites for the Champions League if that was the window. It would be a statement, mate, and it would be a statement that we're here to stay and we have serious intentions of building a dynasty. But again, I do think it's probably a little bit too much to expect from us. But to get back to the amount, somebody asked me a minute ago, how much do I think we spend? I don't know. And honestly, like I've said all the way through, I don't care about the net spend as long as we've got the position sorted and we're happy. If we do good business with sales, happy days. You know, to me, it's not a matter of saying, oh, I want FSG to spend 300 million net. I want them to spend, and if in the course of spending they move on players that the manager doesn't think is going to get to the grade, that's okay. You know, nothing wrong with bringing in good money for fringe players. We've done it in the past. So let's say we sold Darwin and we used that money to buy another striker. I'm happy with that. Let's say we sold Elliott and we had to put money on top of Elliott's fee to bring in somebody like a Florian Wirtz. Or if we sold Jarell Kwanzaa and brought in a centre-back who the manager thinks is ready for the here and now. I'm okay with all of that as long as we look at it and think, without any hesitation, this squad is better placed going in than we were this season. And that's all I want at the end of a window. What the numbers are, look, we'll keep track of them, as promised. We will have the net spendometer. But ultimately, it's about just ticking off, do we have 2 players at right back? Do we have 2 players at left back? Do we have 4 or 5 centre-backs? Do we have 2 good goalkeepers? And a lot of those questions are already yes. So three more signings and then a couple of replacements if players move on. And I think we're pretty much good to go. King7 said, say the Wirtz and he'll score us a goal. Hopefully so. Hopefully many. But look, I'm not getting my hopes up just yet on Florian Wirtz. I'm not. I'm still of the mindset that he probably stays in Germany. But I'm very hopeful that if he doesn't, we would be an attractive proposition for him. Cam said, if we lose both Darwin and Jota, I don't think Wirtz and Pedro give us enough finishing to really push on. It's a fair point. But we don't really... how can I say that then? So, we still have Mo, who does numbers. We still have Diaz. We still have Gakpo. In this scenario, we'd have João Pedro. We'd have... I was going to say Kai Havertz again, lads. Florian Wirtz. I think there's goals in that team. I don't know what the future is with Dan's. Does he get brought in? Does he go on loan? Probably on loan. It's probably the sensible play. It depends. You know, it depends. It will give us a lot of options. A lot of creativity, which I would hope would lead to more goals. But it's really impossible to just sit here and say whether I think it would be enough. I'm not sure. But I can tell you, it would make me feel like we don't have to lean on Mo as much. Because WIRTZ will deliver goals and assists. If Diaz stays, I think he kicks on. Gakpo will chip in with a few. What we need is some more goals from midfield. But I do get your point, Cam. It's a fair one. You're still not going out there and boxing off what you think is a 30-goal-a-season striker. But would Alvarez be that? I don't know the answer to that, but I don't think so. I think an Isak, yes, 30-goal-a-season striker. And Alvarez, probably a bit more in the mould of a Firmino with regards to the numbers we could expect. And João Pedro may slip into that as well. So I wouldn't be getting upset about it, but I do get your point. Nessie, always lovely to see you, my friend, said, "Oh, Craig, what a good day today was." It was great, wasn't it? It was great. I was sitting there earlier on and my phone went with a notification, and then I was like, oh, somebody just told me Romano said, here we go. Straight away message to Conor, the post, and sorry, day off cancelled. Can we laugh at 130 FC? Yep. By the way, again, look at the fans. Didn't stay in there to see the lads go up and get their medals. Didn't stay in there to applaud Crystal Palace. Off they went, emptied out the stadium, and again showed a lack of class, in my opinion. But I expect nothing less from 115/130 FC. Sign WIRTZ and get Jonathan David in on a free. Then bring in Kirkes, Wharton and a centre-back. Sell Kelleher, Nunes, Costas, Endo, Elliott, Bajcetic. Will win the league with this. I wouldn't be, personally, mate, I wouldn't be of the mindset to sell Bajcetic just yet. I really think there's a good player in there. Jonathan David, I think he's going to go to Italy from a few murmurings that I've been seeing. But it's a name that's gone fairly quiet with Liverpool, but that could just mean I'm in the wrong circles in that regard. But it'd be an interesting one. The only thing I disagree with, Kem, is probably the Bajcetic one. I wouldn't be selling him yet. Pep's head fell off today, said James, sore loser. Sold out my arse. There were empty seats everywhere in the city half, said Nomad. I know. But again, we're not allowed to say the truth, mate. We have to all play along and pretend. Any more news on Kirkes or Gordon? Absolutely nothing for me on Anthony Gordon. Again, it doesn't mean I'm not in the know on this. It just means I don't know anything about it, mate, honestly. And if Diaz is going to stay, I don't think we need to be looking at the left-hand side at all. Diaz and Canadi are two contracts that I would hope the club are working on to get done soon. But at least with Diaz, we know he wants to stay. He said it himself. Right. So last night, we did a late night video. And there was a bit of breaking news, as there always is. And I will take you through exactly what was said in the embargoed section. This is from Lewis Steele. And again, credit to Lewis Steele. Speaking about Federico Chiesa, this is what our manager had to say in his press conference. Does he have a future here? Yes. Definitely he has. Yes. On top of that, he said, definitely, I think everybody playing for us over here has a future. Next season, if he comes back completely fit, which he's hardly been for the first half of the season, then afterwards he became fitter and fitter. The next steps would have been playing time, which I couldn't give him. He went on to say, but I can give him time in pre-season so he can build himself up and then go even further. So, categorically, the manager's saying there that Federico Chiesa has a future at the club. And that kind of ties in with a report that came from the Napoli, I don't know which paper or publication it was from Napoli, but they said that Chiesa's agent had denied any agreement or any deal to sell Chiesa from Liverpool. And now we see Arne Slot come out with that. So, if Fede is staying around, then would that make the likes of a João Pedro thing if we brought in Florian Wirtz more understandable? Well, for me, yes. Because you've got somebody who can play anywhere across the front three again. And we'd have a collection of players like that. You'd have a Wirtz who can play in 2 or 3 positions if he came. You'd have a João Pedro who could play in 2 or 3 positions. You'd have a Chiesa who could play in 2 or 3 positions. Salah, Diaz, Gakpo. Come on now. That's getting tasty. Jai said, well played on building this great community. Thank you, my man. And I hope the world wakes up to you guys, you know, because I'm okay with people thinking I'm a dope or looking at a clip of me and thinking that I'm an arsehole. I'm fine with that. You know, that's the game I'm in. But I always love when people just talk about you guys. You know, if I meet somebody, they'll say, I was, you know, came to start watching your channel and really like the people in your chat. You'd be amazed how often people come up to me and talk about you guys and how warm and friendly you guys are receiving in new people to the community. So thank you for being the great people that you are. Sorry, I'm just buzzing today, lads. I'm just internally glowing and smiling. And I don't know why football does this to us. You know, it just stirs emotion that, other than sexy time, not much else can do. Our press conference on Chiesa was stellar, said Michael, or Oliver Hunt, excuse me. Yeah, it was great news. You know, I want Chiesa to stay. You want Chiesa to stay. Most Reds want Chiesa to stay, but we want them to be given chances. So, again, look at that front line. Like, let's say we bring in a striker. Let's just call him AN other for a minute. Chiesa, Salah, Diaz, Gakpo. Jota sticking about maybe. Darwin's gone, and AN striker comes in there. Great options, and that's before we even look to the attacking midfield or the idea of a Florian Wirtz or somebody. JG94 said, we should have the money to spend this summer with the money from the Premier League, the Champions League, and the Adidas deal. That's a profit for the club. Love your work, Craig. Thank you, my friend. And look, we should have the money as well because we've made profits in the last 2 transfer windows and we've done feck all business. So yeah, we should absolutely have money. And to be fair, the reporting has saying that we do have money. Again, just to go back to this post from Lewis Steele, the money is there for Liverpool to sign Florian Wirtz. So it's exciting times. Right, where else we got? Paul Joyce said Liverpool formally trigger the release clause of Jeremie Frimpong. Sorry, he said Liverpool will formally trigger Jeremie Frimpong's release clause, just to put it exactly as it was said, which, again, great news. Jay said, I hope Chiesa hits the headlines for next season. So do I. So do I, my man. Jingles, thank you for gifting 5 Anfield Agenda memberships, man. That's very kind of you. I'm sure they'd be much appreciated by the recipients. Thank you, my man. Stevie boy. Just seen a clip of the lads celebrating in Dubai. Next 2 games might be hard to get up for. So let's just think about this for a minute, right? We play Crystal Palace next weekend in what could be classed as the hangover derby. And Conor made a good point. Do we have to give them a guard of honour and then they run around and give us a guard of honour? You know, because they won an FA Cup, so we can all just do laps, you know. They can welcome us out first as the Premier League champions, little guard of honour. Then we can swap positions real quick, give them a little guard of honour, and we can all laugh at City together. We can all sit down on the ground, have a little laugh with Manchester City, and then move on. But you're right, mate. It's I'm not expecting free-flowing, amazing football, but you know, let's wait and see what Monday night brings. The lads were certainly celebrating, though, and look, they've every right to. They've earned that celebration, but yeah, I'm not expecting it to be a magnificent spectacle of football when we take on Palace. Just seen you in a Sidemen video talking about Hendo. Oh God, that's a long time ago. That Hendo clip is from my first year making content, I think, which was 7 years ago, something like that. And it was a piss boiler, to be honest with you. I've thought, yeah, again, funny. But yeah, that's a long time ago, that Hendo thing, which is funny. It was a piss boiler. It was basically supposed to be, well, look, I'm not going to go back over it again. It was me on a wind-up. Do I hate Madrid or City more? City. Because, well, obvious reasons. Because of how they've gotten to where they are now, and the way that they have absolutely denied any wrongdoing, and the way that they have continuously just lobbed grenades into the Premier League and lawsuits and just them. They've for me they've undermined a lot of the Premier League's credibility, and I hope that the charges labelled against them get held. But again, we're all just going to have to wait and see. No day off. No, you can't take the day off when you get the here we go on the Frimpong now. Come on. I'd have leapt up out of bed to come down and do this if I had to. Liverpool versus Palace will be a Community Shield warm-up, said Mark as well. Yes, we will be taking on Crystal Palace in the Community Shield, or as Arteta likes to call it, pretty much all he fucking has. Because we know COVID FA Cups don't count, right, Arsenal fans? Your rules, not ours. So, El Lego head, what has he got? A couple of Community Shields, which basically are not real trophies. Yeah. We wouldn't even have space for Community Shields really in the old trophy cabinet, would we? Craig, does Slott's comments mean Kasa gets more game time in these two games? Could be. He did say that these next two games won't be a deciding factor for anybody. He said that his mind would have been made up over the last 10 or 11 months, and the next couple of games wouldn't be fair to judge people or make a definitive decision on their futures based off them. But still do hope we get to see him. Yeah, it'd be nice to see him get some minutes. Mark Bell, how are you, bro? Said evening. We don't need another guard of honour, so I think we should give Palace one at Anfield. The Liverpool fans cheer so loudly. We should both have one. Guard of honours all around, you know. What a season. Like, imagine I said to you at the start of the season that Paris Saint-Germain and Inter will be fighting for the Champions League in the final, that Liverpool would win the Premier League, Newcastle would win the League Cup, Crystal Palace would win the FA Cup, and Manchester United and Spurs will finish, 16th and 17th in the Premier League maybe. Imagine I said all of that to you, that they would lose, Spurs would lose, 21 league games in a season. We'd have all thought we were lunatics. And rightly so. I mean, imagine the odds you'd have gotten on that. Liverpool to win the Prem, Palace to win the FA Cup, Newcastle to win the League Cup, an all-English Europa League final, Chelsea in the Conference League. Well, you probably wouldn't have gotten great odds to win Chelsea to win the Conference League because they should be winning it, but it's been a mad season. And again, and I can't say this happily enough, City have won nothing. Nothing. Zero. Nada. Zip. Nothing. How's that feel, Pepinald? How does that feel, my man, with your little white spit? Somebody give that man a bottle of water. Honestly, I've never seen somebody with such white spit consistently. And it never gets called out. I guarantee you, if Kloppo was going around spitting, you'd never hear the end of it. But old Pep can do what he likes, be as salty as he likes, deny reality a lot of the time. But hey ho. You spelled fat wrong. Thank you, my friend. Interestingly enough, though, your username is Nigel Farage. I was actually asked to go on GB News after we won the Premier League. They emailed asking if we got a representative who could go on, which I was washing my hair, so I couldn't do it. I hope Spurs win just to see the AFTV meltdown. Yeah, let's not bring them up. To be fair, let's keep it a classy affair in the chat. I'm done with them. I don't want to go into a big monologue and rant on them again, but honestly, yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get who watches it. I don't get the appeal of it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it at all. Right, Colin, how are we? Welcome in. What's the phase that Glasner is in? I know I've seen Lee Gunner. Lee Gunner posted that one. The winning phase is what he's in. And fair play, like what a career Glasner's after having there, winning the Europa League, then coming across winning an FA Cup with Palace as well. Fair play. He seems like a really down-to-earth, likeable fella as well, Oliver Glasner. What's this one? Should I save this for the late night video or will I tickle your nuts with it now? I'll say it once for anybody who's listening. Napoli have reached out to Liverpool about signing Darwin Núñez, according to Fabrizio Romano. And also, we'll have a little bit coming up later on as well about Xavi Simons and a potential destination for him. So do stay tuned later on for the late news roundup. You know, people think, oh, I've just watched them stream, I won't watch it again. You would have missed the stuff on Kasa last night because honestly, we do get late news at times when we finish the streams and we include them in the later videos because we don't always have time to go through everything. So, one quick shameless plug from me. 1 week to go till we're in Liverpool. The end of season title celebration party at the Hot Water Comedy Club, May 25th. Remaining tickets on sale now. 3 days later, we're back with a 5-man show. Myself, Conor, Chris, Steve and Jack. We're going to have a musical guest with us for both nights. We're going to have the Premier League trophy with us as well. And hopefully you guys can come along and join us. The venue for the last day of the season, they're opening at 9 a.m. And it's going to be absolutely jammers all the way through the day. They're showing the game inside. And then we will be on that night at 7:30. And I cannot wait to come across and party with everyone. Joe, how are you, my man? Said, sick of the narrative that big players would never join, like we are not a big club. Yet they believe links of players like Gyökeres to United in 16th. Yep, we're a big club, absolutely. And we're a big club going in the right direction. And we're a big club with a fantastic team, a great manager, an amazing set of fans. Big club. So I'm with you. We should appeal. We should appeal to many. Like, I would put Liverpool in the top 5 clubs in world football without any hesitation. You can argue about how you measure success, how you measure who's bigger, but either way, we're there or thereabouts. And it should be an honour for anybody to come and play for Liverpool Football Club. And we definitely are appealing, I agree, Joe. So, could Liverpool get WIRTZ? It's a simple question from Brooklyn. Firstly, Brooklyn, thank you. Look, I think it depends if he leaves Germany. If he decides he's going to leave Germany, then there's every chance. It would be us and Manchester City really going head-to-head for him. I don't know who his preference would be there. I'd be a liar if I said to you that I do. But what I do know is, according to multiple reports, Liverpool would make a strong play if he decides that his future isn't in Germany. But Bayern certainly believe that he's Bayern bound. Publications in Germany are mixed on it. Some feel it is a formality. Others feel that maybe the way Bayern have gone about it has annoyed the WIRTZ family. I am just an interested observer like everybody else waiting to see what happens. Danny said, keep the team tune. It's class. I tried to mix it up. I do understand that it's 2 minutes long, so I get that. And I understand that some people might think it's cringy and cheesy. But I like to use it as a signal that I'm in good form. So if I play the team tune before it come on, it's usually a sign that you're going to get a good, happy, hyped up Craig. And if I don't, sometimes it's because there's bad news on the way. So appreciate you, Danny. Thank you. Casey Maxwell said, any past Liverpool player in next year's squad, who would you pick? Luis Suarez, probably. You know, it's very easy for me to sit here and say Steven Gerrard, but, you know, we have a great midfield. And I think that number 9, so I would say Luis Suarez, Robbie Fowler, Ian Rush. That'd probably be my first 3 thoughts. Yeah, one of those 3, probably. Robbie Fowler, Ian Rush, or Luis Suarez. I'd take one of those, thank you very much. Imagine them through the centre in this team. Be incredible. Good shout, though. Good question. Steve Aldous, he said Alan Hansen. Ooh, good shout. I'd also wouldn't mind seeing Big Sammy Hyypiä. Imagine Sammy alongside Virgil. Oh, you won't be getting past them 2 lads. Not a chance. King 7 said, I have heard we're linked to Christopher Nkunku from Chelsea. Think I spelled the name wrong. Sorry, what's the odds of him coming? There's definitely a story. I think I still have it in my notes. Let me just check through for you. 1 second. because I always like to try and credit people when we're talking about a story. So Santi_J_FM, posted by Anfield Edition, said Liverpool have made contact over Christopher Nkunku. Now, do I believe that? No, I don't. And also, I don't want them, because if Paris Saint-Germain ever decided they wanted to sign him again, then I think he'd be off, because he said Paris is his club. So, look, I would have taken him before I went to Chelsea. I'm not trying to sit here and say there's nothing good about Nkunku. There definitely is, but I just don't see that one being real. You know, if he hasn't worked out with Chelsea, why would we suddenly want to then go in? So Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Liverpool are not in the mix. Repeat, not in the mix for Kevin De Bruyne. Although I think we probably all knew that deep down. That was still a fun 20 hours though, when we were thinking about it. Of course we're not. We're in there looking for Florian Wirtz. No, not Florian Wirtz. B-Tech cousin. I'm Ron said Torres. Suarez was better. Suarez was better than Torres, man. Come on, be honest. He was. He's better in every sense. Oliver said, I miss Sammy. So do I. Ironically, that was my dad's name as well. Well, it wasn't his actual name. It was the name he went by and people knew him by. But his real name wasn't Sammy. He also wasn't as good a centre-back as Sammy Hyypiä. Kev Parker says, you don't normally get a guard of honour for an FA Cup, but I think it would be class for Liverpool to do it, especially as it's the first ever trophy. Yeah, we could do it for each other. You know, they could welcome us out as champions, and then we could just swap places with them, and you know, we could move, and we could just do that thing where, you know, we move and then they go through, and we all just laugh at Manchester City. You know, we have a minute's silence at the centre circle for Pep Guardiola and City, and a little chuckle, and a minute's silence for the lads up the road in Manchester as well. The other lot up the road in Manchester for another great league campaign. Suarez so clear of Torres. As much as I've loved Torres, Suarez is the best player to never win the Ballon d'Or. For me, Luis Suarez is the most skillful player I've ever seen at Liverpool Football Club. Thiago would come a close second. Torres was incredible, but Luis Suarez was just different gravy. The man could nutmeg a mermaid, like, he was incredible. But so was Rushy. Liam Maddow said, the only thing that worries me with WIRTZ is what it will mean for other signings. It's a fair concern, but it would also probably allow us, like we've said, to maybe spend less on a centre forward. I'm just trying to think of a poll. Give me a poll idea that you guys would like to vote on. Naman said, I really liked Agger and his love for the club. Absolutely. Man loves the club. No doubt about that. I'm loving a minute silence. That's brilliant. There you go. I'm a man of few ideas, but occasionally a decent one, Kev. WIRTZ or Alvarez? Ooh, that's filth. That's filth. Aaron said, replica Premier League trophy arrived, ready for next week. Good man. Enjoy. I'm still eyeing up what size suitcase to put the full size one in to bring it over. I want to make sure, obviously, it travels safely on the plane. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to wrap up that Premier League trophy that we're bringing across to Liverpool. What do you think of my Liverpool tune? Which one was this? Was this the one we were talking about, Frimpong? The Dr. Dre one, or is it a different one? Because I'm all about anything to do with Dr. Dre, mate. I'm on board. Bradley or Frimpong? Well, we don't have to answer that question because we've got them both. So there we go. Right, let me think. Right, let's ask this one. I'm going to go big with this one. Oh, right, let's ask. Right. Okay. Right. So, as requested, here's the poll. Pick one. Florian Wirtz or Julian Alvarez. But you can only have one now. So, we'll see what you guys see or what you guys vote for. We'll come back to it in a bit. So, pick one. Florian Wirtz or Julian Alvarez. I'm very intrigued by this one because I don't even know how I'd answer this question. Ivo, how are you, my friend? So, Craig, who do you think we sign next? Who'll be the next striker, CDM, or central attacking midfielder, left back? And give us your top names and realistic ones. I mean, that's a whole lot of questions in one question. I don't know who the next signing is going to be. Genuinely, I'll be just guessing. So I'll go through the positions. Striker, in an ideal world, Julian Alvarez. Defensive midfielder, Adam Wharton would be my ideal one there. I also don't mind the idea of the kid from Athletic Club Bilbao, but also Stefan Bajcetic. Attacking midfielder, well, look, if we had Alvarez, I don't think the money would be there for somebody like a WIRTZ. So definitely not Xavi Simons anyway. Cherky would be an interesting one. Oh, better poll. Sorry, we're going to cancel that poll because Silly Bald Man's had a better idea. Sorry, folks. So, 1 second. Yeah, I've had a better idea for a poll, so bear with me. We're going on the same idea of pick one, but I'm going to give you a different one. Right, so. Right, so here's a better one. Pick one, Alvarez and Cherky or WIRTZ and João Pedro. You know, because I think both of those have one expensive signing and one less expensive but interesting player. So Alvarez and Ryan Cherky or Florian Wirtz. Who's the other one? Florian Wirtz and João Pedro. So, yes, pick one combination there if you were to sign the attacking midfielder / creative player and an attacker. And we'll come back and have a look at that one in a while. Sorry for cancelling the other poll, but I don't have good ideas very often. Arsenal tears, or Arsenal tears, I believe you're trying to say, is it? Wirtz is injury prone. Alvarez, please. Is he? I don't know. I haven't really looked into his injury track record, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'll be honest, man. I don't know if he's injury prone or not, but he's still a young player, so plenty of time to develop past that. Cornan Pugh said, not sure why WIRTZ means we need a centre forward. 4-4-2. We don't really play 4-4-2 though. We play 4-3-3 or some variation of it. But look, again, we're all sort of guessing here. If we do sign WIRTZ, maybe he becomes that false number 9, like you've said, or maybe somebody else plays into that role, or him and Dominic Szoboszlai, you know, one attacks, one stays back, or, you know, something similar. I don't know, but I love the idea of the fluidity it would give us and the options Arna has. You know, even just adding in Frimpong now gives us some good variation to how we can go at teams. You know, if Mo needs a rest, you can put Frimpong up right wing. If Conor Bradley needs a rest, you can put Frimpong at right back. It just gives us good options. Right, did you see the Bayern director put the City and WIRTZ news to bed and said it was only Liverpool who's in the way? No, I didn't. I'd seen Max Erbel, was that his name? The other day speaking, and I'd seen something, a quote like, WIRTZ is free to visit friends in Manchester or Liverpool or anywhere else or something like that. But no, I haven't seen that quote, but it would be an interesting one. Where do we see that? If you can point me in the direction of it, Fitz, that would be much appreciated. That would be a very interesting one to have a look at. Midfield better than our attack, in my opinion. Alvarez for me. Isaiah James said, with Bournemouth setting Kirk's price of 45 million, do you think he's worth that? And do you think Liverpool will pay that? Do I think he's worth it? Yes. Do I think Liverpool will pay it? I think they'll try to get it a bit cheaper. I think 40 is probably a number we're looking at. But I can also understand Bournemouth's position. They've just lost Hoyson. Nothing they could do about that because of his release clause. They may lose another player. Semenyo's been looked at by quite a few teams. So they're going to want to play hard ball. And I would rather Liverpool paid it than we got somebody like Haddo. I have to be honest. I just think it's a better fit for us stylistically if we brought in Kirk. So I would hope that we can come to a compromise on the price, but I would rather we paid a little bit extra than lose out on the player. But what do I think the club will do? I'm hoping that they use the option of Haddo as a way to try to leverage a better situation with Bournemouth for Kirk. So, yeah, I'm still hopeful on Kirk because I feel like a disappointment if we don't get him at this point. Akos said, the Firmino nostalgia whispers WIRTZ in my ear. I like it. Yeah, I like it. Shane said, do you think we'll ever produce a natural goal scorer like Fowler or Rush again? I grew up idolising Fowler. Robbie Fowler is my favourite ever Liverpool player. Yeah, I do. I think we'll produce one. Might not be for another few years yet, but if there's one thing that we've always been really good at as a club, it's finding that striker. You know, even if we go into the market and bring in a Torres, a Suarez, and before that, we've always had Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler, Ian Rush. We've always had a good number 9. And it's even sweeter if they can be produced so they can come through the system. But hopefully Jayden Danns becomes that guy. You know, maybe we're putting a bit too much pressure on the young lad, but hopefully. Did Luis Suarez sign a new deal before leaving? I believe he signed a new deal after the Arsenal 40 million plus £1 thing, if my memory's right. But then he beat Chiellini, I think, at the World Cup. And then I think that was like the last straw. I definitely know Coutinho had signed a new deal a few months before with an agreement that he'd stay at least one more year. But I can't remember the Suarez situation exactly off the top of my head. Kev Parker said, if Frimpong is 35 million, then 5-10 million more for a 21-year-old has so much potential is a no-brainer. I agree. Certainly, somebody who looks like a regen of a young Andy Robertson, I'm absolutely in agreement with you. SDO said, love the work, Craig. This type of content is brilliant for us Reds. This summer, new fullbacks, a new centre-back and goal scorer. I smell number 21. I hope we do. I hope we get number 21. We know Mohamed Salah wants the Champions League next season. It'd be an interesting one. Maybe we can do that as the last poll of the night. Remind me, because my dumb ass will forget. Remind me to ask which one you'd prefer for next season. If you had to pick one, we'll do that poll towards the end. And thank you, my man, for the compliment. Really appreciate it. Again, I know I mentioned this earlier, but I was buzzing. So I made another cameo video for somebody today, and they asked me to call somebody a see you next Tuesday in the video. That made me so excited. Imagine like getting paid a little bit of money to say that word out loud. It's like my wet dream. So if anybody, I'm also up for breaking up with anybody. So if anyone needs a cameo for me to break up with somebody for them, propose to them for them, I'm here for it. You know, I'm here for it. I'm also available to officiate weddings. Isn't that right, TOTT2KZ1? Sean Handley said, ultimately, I trust Slot 100%. Whoever he thinks is good, I'll be behind. I think there will be a couple of players nobody is talking about that will come out of nowhere. We're good for that. Yeah, and I love them signings. Like, one of my favourite ones ever was Fabinho. Because kind of we were all sitting around going, wonder what's going to happen. And then, bam. Fabinho, his missus, and the Frenchies, I think, were on a plane on the way over, and we're all thinking, oh, yeah, I'll take that one, yeah. And Diogo Jota as well. If I remember correctly, I think that one kind of came out of nowhere. I don't remember having much chat about Diogo Jota before that deal was agreed. So, Sonny said, if we don't get WIRTZ, would you go for somebody like Xavi Simons? Well, I'm going to be speaking about Xavi Simons in the late night video, mate. That's going to be coming up in a while. We've got about half an hour left on tonight's stream. Would I go for him? Personally, no. I don't think there's value in him at the numbers that has been requested at about the 70 million mark. But, that's just my opinion. There's just something about him that doesn't... It just rubs me up wrong or something. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like he's a potential headache. What's this one that he sent me? One sec. Nope. I think that's been deleted, Mark. The one that you just sent me there. It's been deleted, I think, Mark. Or at least it's not showing up for me, my man. Right, Carl. How are you, bro? Hi, Craig. Have you seen KDB's interview after the final? He was asked if he was speaking to other Premier League clubs, and he said a cheeky maybe. Well, Fabrizio Romano has come out and said categorically that Liverpool are not in the mix for Kevin De Bruyne. So I think we're Aston Villa linked as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think Aston Villa's name was spoken about with De Bruyne at one point. So the tweet was apparently Napoli are one of the clubs informed on Darwin Núñez. They know everything regarding his salary, the player's intention to leave Liverpool. The situation is irreparable. Good. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, but don't try and kick it, Darwin, because you'll probably miss and be offside. So, yeah, look, I can't wait to get rid of him. It's been a situation that I was trying my best until he said those words about, oh, now I know why I'm not being played. That accusation, to me, is unforgivable towards the football club, particularly towards a set of fans. And I'm not talking about me in this scenario. I mean the travelling Reds, who have only ever had his back, only ever sung his name, only ever believed in him and cheered him on even when he was stinking the gaff up. And he has just acted like a petulant child. So I can't wait to get rid of him. And I say that as somebody who desperately wanted him to succeed and desperately wanted to love him, because he was a very easy guy to like. When he's smiling and it's doing well and he's running those lines and he's harassing defenders, you want to get behind him. But I'll never be able to get past those snidey words about, again, not taking ownership of why he wasn't being played. He wasn't being played because he was being shit. Nothing to do with the money. And he was played the very next game. And again... So yeah, sooner the better we can close that chapter. A move to Italy probably suit him, in all honesty. I could see him in a Napoli shirt. I could see the Napoli fans really liking him as well. If it clicks from somewhere, there's certainly a player in there. I think we all know that. But it just wasn't going to be consistently at Liverpool. We'll always have that Newcastle game, though. That's one game, I think, no matter what, it still sticks out in my mind. Down to 10 men, 1-0 down, and then he comes off 2 quick-fire goals off the bench and turns it round. Was it worth 85 million? Probably not. Did you see Leeds are interested in Chimicus, said Chris Davies? Yeah, there was a report. One second, Chris. There we go. There was a report the other day, All Day Leeds United FC or All Day LUFC posted to say, if Leeds United are to sign both Creevy and Kelleher and Costas from Liverpool, it'll be for a combined fee of at least 40 million. And then they posed the question, a good use of 40 million, asking obviously their audience. I think it would be a good move for everybody. I can see both of them being liked by the Leeds fans. Leeds are a good club. Back up into the Premier League, of course. There's a long running admiration of Leeds here in Ireland. If you go back to the Johnny Giles days, there are many, many older Leeds fans here in Ireland. So I think if Kelleher went there, it would certainly be a well-received move back here, except from United fans, of course. And Costas, I think Leeds fans would love him as well. And I think that's probably a decent move for him if it was possible. Billy said, evening, Frimpong, a good player and a personality with a good Scouse accent as well. That video's class, the one of him with the Scouse accent. And homegrown, I don't think we've mentioned that enough tonight. He falls under the homegrown category as well. So that's another box tick there. Right, let's check in on our poll. We asked, pick one. Julian Alvarez and Ryan Cherky, or Florian Wirtz and Joe Pedro. I'm going to leave it run a little bit longer. It's relatively close, but do vote away in it if you can, please. And also, 779 likes. Come on, let's try and get that up to 1,000. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you haven't got your tickets to next week's shows, come on. Come and see us in Liverpool. I promise you, we're going to have a fun night. We've got a musical act that's going to be giving you 45 minutes of the Liverpool fan favourites. Then I'm going to waddle my fat ass onto the stage with the Premier League trophy, try to keep the party going. It's going to be great fun. We'll have the Premier League trophy with us, plenty of time for a chat and all afterwards as well. And to those who've already got their tickets, thank you so much. I'm really excited for it. It's really weird though. I must be the only idiot in the world flying home from Liverpool the day of the parade. Not over to it, but home from it. Because the parade now was booked after the shows were booked. So unfortunately for me, I'm flying in on Saturday, coming home Monday morning, and flying back into Liverpool again on Wednesday for the 2 shows. But I cannot wait. And also, I don't talk about this one too much yet, but Cork, we're coming to see you the day before Liverpool take on Crystal Palace in the Community Shield or the Lego Head Trophy. We'll be down in Cork at Cypress Avenue. It's an over 18s gig, this one, but if you want to come and see us, you can get all of our socials and links to all of our shows with the link that's pinned to the top of the chat or in the description of this. Our link tree has everything. Also, thank you to everyone that has also hit the follow button and subscribe button for the Clips account. I've had a dream for a long time. I don't think Anfield Agenda, the main channel, is ever going to get to 1 million. I just don't. I've never had that belief. But I do believe it's possible that we can get a second silver play button for our Clips channel. We're nearly halfway there. So if you haven't subscribed to the Clips channel, do check out, just search Anfield Agenda Clips, hit that sub button if you can. We'd love to get a silver play button for our Clips channel as well. It'd be incredible. And thank you if you've already subscribed. The Legend said, how do you see Everton doing next year? Yeah, it's a really good question. So obviously since Moyes has come back in, they've looked revitalised. They've got their new stadium that they're moving to. Hard to know how they'll react to that new stadium. Will it be something that takes a while for them to become familiar with in the surroundings? I certainly don't imagine they're going to be anywhere near the relegation zone next season. It's interesting. I wonder if they're still going to make that move for Doak, because they were one of the clubs that were rumoured to be interested in Ben Doak, but where would I guess them to be? 12th to 14th? Somewhere around that maybe next season? David Coughlin said, thoughts on the Palace FA Cup win? Genuinely just happy. Yeah, look, pushing aside this fact that I don't like City, just happy for football and for their fans. It's always lovely. If we can't win a trophy, you'd always want one of the a club that hasn't done it before, or a club that hasn't done it in a long time to do it. So I know we lost to Newcastle and that sucks, but I took some comfort from the fact that although we lost, and I never want to lose, we lost to a club that fans deserved it, and fans deserve some success. They've been a brilliant fan base, Newcastle, and I thought, okay, we lost, but fair play to them. And today, you could see it again, what it meant to all of those Crystal Palace fans, to the players, to the chairman. And I think it's good for football to see trophies getting spread around a bit. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing, David, and fair play to them. What would a ticket cost to get into the last game of the season? I don't know. Mate. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Like, if I had a ticket and somebody offered me $2,000 for my ticket, just in a hypothetical scenario, would I take it? Probably not at this point in my life. But I would always understand if anybody did. Like, if I don't like, touting should be out the window, of course, but if you get offered a life-changing amount of money for something like that, I don't know. But what are the memories worth to you? You know, see, I guess it all depends on how important being there in that moment is for you. What would it cost? I would imagine you probably wouldn't be able to get a ticket for £2 at this point if you were to look about. But I honestly I don't know. I just hope that everybody that does go into Anfield has a memorable day and it stays with them for their lives. And I hope many kids get to see it, so the next generation of Copites can have that memory. I hope those who've been waiting a long time to see it in person, the 30-year plus wait now to see it being done inside Anfield, I hope all of those fans get a chance to get in and see it. Former players, everybody who should be there and wants to be there. It's just going to be a great day, and one that will live long in the memory for many. The amount of people who've told me over the years, I now get to show my son or daughter what I got to see when I was a kid. You know, that's incredible. That's the greatest gift I think parents can do for the child in these types of scenarios. Like, share those bonding memories with the younger generation. It's just going to be one of those good feeling days. Palace fans will be in great form, obviously, after winning the FA Cup. Their team are going to be absolutely buzzing. I think it's just going to be feel good day all around. Some hotels are going for that just to stay in Liverpool. Oh, I know. So as I mentioned, I'm doing a show in Liverpool next Sunday. I have to stay in Wigan. That's the closest I could get to Liverpool. We for the midweek show the week after we're in Liverpool, but for the show next weekend, me and Conor are staying in Wigan and driving in. That's how far out we had to book a hotel, because ones in Liverpool, as you said, were anywhere from £1,000 to £6,500, £7,000 for some hotels or some apartments. It was crazy. And I wouldn't pay it. I was spite, I wouldn't pay it. Nothing's worth that. Like, I always weigh something up and go, well, you could spend this, or you could have, I don't know, 2 weeks in Barbados or something, you know. It's scandalous. And I hate price gouging. I hate it. I hate the way this surge pricing stuff works, and that a hotel room gets quadrupled or 10 times its normal price. It should be illegal, in my opinion. The legend said, I have to say, no matter how down I'm feeling, and God knows I've felt down over these last few years, football can always cheer me up or distract me. Games or conversations with my friends or granddad. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And I've loved some of the ads that I've seen as well lately. You know, there's an ad now or a campaign, I think Sky run it. You know, ring your friend at halftime, check in on somebody, ask how they are. And over here in Ireland at the minute, there's a really good ad as well about, I think it's Lion's Tea, where, you know, us Irish are known for talking, but do we really talk enough about important stuff, like how we're really feeling, and sharing those? And these are the type of campaigns that I'm fully behind. You know, my take on mental health. It's really important to speak up, and it's really important that people know that it's okay to be down. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to feel like you need to reach out to somebody. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And that's one thing I want to really get across. You know, I've put my hand out for help many times in my life, and I've been lucky enough that I've received that help. So if anybody is in a difficult place, don't think you're alone. Speak to somebody. And a problem shared is a problem halved is probably a good thing, but we're all going to struggle at times in our life. All of us, no matter how rich you are, how poor you are, how successful you are, how anything. You know, if you had a broken arm, you wouldn't think twice about going in and getting some help. But people can see that. People don't know maybe what's inside. So I have this little thing where every time I go to a supermarket or something, I always try to make the cashier or somebody smile, because I know what difference times have made to me when I've come on here really struggling with my mental health, and somebody will make a joke or something and make me smile. And for that split second, I remember that there's goodness in life as well. And I know not to give up and keep going. So yeah, always, 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 always think, speak up if you're suffering. Yeah, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It's a sign of strength. So, you know, speak up. Arsenal can still not finish in the Champions League, said David. Yeah, but they will. They will, let's be honest. George said, Craig, it'll be a special day. I've never gotten to see us lift the trophy properly. Unfortunately, had to witness that unbelievable City team. And I know, and I'm so glad, George, for you and your family that you're going to be there. Had the pleasure of getting to know you guys over the last couple of years, and delighted for you. Honestly, man, delighted that you guys are going to be inside Anfield for that day. Fitz said, the news is on Twitter and the German media. Oh, Fitz, this is about the Bayern Munich director, was it? Thank you, bro. I will adhere to have a look into that when I can. But interesting. I know that Manchester City had been named with another player or two if it didn't work out with WIRTZ that they've been looking at. But look, I very much hope we can get WIRTZ. It'd be an incredible get if we do, but I'm not allowing myself to believe just yet because I don't want to feel down about it if it doesn't happen. Dave said, my wife says going shopping with me is like taking Coco the Clown everywhere. Well, Dave, you know me. I'm the guy who farts in freezers and closes them. I'm the guy who will, every time my wife's leaving past security in a shop, say, I'd look at her, I'd search her, she looks dodgy. I'll make a show of her anywhere. And my kids will tell you that as well. I have no filter. So, yeah. And by the way, you know, you all mock the freezer farting, but try it. You just might like it. And not the like, it has to be the ones with the doors, them freezers, you know? I'm just a weird person in general. Like, my wife hates going anywhere with me because even if I'm on a video call and she's walking past somebody in the supermarket or something, I'll say, show us your arse or something. You know, I'm just an absolute nightmare to go out. I'm a big child. Really, I am. I'm a big, big child. The Liverpool prophet said, do I get recognised in public a lot? I don't go out much. Genuinely, if I leave this house once a week, that would be probably it at a stretch. So the airport a bit when I'm going somewhere like that maybe, but thankfully so far everybody's been kind of nice when they've said hello. Right, we've got about 12-13 minutes left on tonight's stream, so I'm going to do that other poll that I promised, but we've now had 1,600 votes, and we asked you to pick one, Alvarez and Ryan Cherky, or WIRTZ and João Pedro, and 57% of you guys and girls that voted said that you would rather have WIRTZ and João Pedro over Alvarez and Cherky. And thank you to everyone that did vote in that one. Now, the last one that I did promise I would get up. Right. By the way, there could be as many as 10 English teams in Europe next season. Right, so pick one to win next season, Premier League or Champions League. Poll is now up there live. You can only pick one, so no being greedy. Premier League or Champions League. If you had to pick one next season, vote away on that one. Shadow TV said, keep up the great work, mate. You deserve all the success. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. It still feels weird, you know, saying we've had nearly 10 million views this month sounds absolutely ludicrous to say out loud. So yeah, man, I try not to think about the numbers or anything because it would just freak me out. So I just think of this as me coming on chatting with mates every night and try to ignore when the numbers get big. Because I don't feel like I deserve it. Like I've said all the way through, there are people out there far more knowledgeable, entertaining, better looking, just better people that probably deserve it. I don't know how I've ended up here, but again, I'll continue to try to make you guys proud. Sean said, Premier League every single time, bread and butter. It is, but, you know, Champions League. I'm still trying to think which one I'd prefer next season. Because I can make a really valid claim to say backing up and defending the Premier League title would feel very, very special. Like, very special. But a European Cup and the glory that comes with it and those images beamed all around the world, that would be pretty cool as well. To go clear of United at 21 or to move up to number 7 in the European Cups. Oh, you know what? I'm probably a Champions League man. I'm probably going to say Champions League. As much as I do really want us to go back to back and retain it, it'd be incredible to do a Champions League though. But then again, that would probably mean either Arsenal or Man City would win the Prem. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Colin, thank you, man, for being with us as a member for 17 months. Frimpong or Trent, who's the best, if you could pick? Trent's terrible. Never liked him, never rated him. Nah, look, Trent's an exceptional footballer. He's probably not a right back, but then again, Frimpong's probably not a real right back. Who's a better player? I'd probably say Trent, if I'm being really honest. I just think the ability to strike a ball the way he does is truly special. But I think Frimpong's going to be a really good addition, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. But yeah, look, if I'm being honest, I'd probably just say Trent. Why not both, or dare I say, all four? A quadruple. Or what if we won the fucking Mikel Arteta Cup as well? What would that be then? It's going to be mad that we're playing Crystal Palace, isn't it? In the Community Shield. That's going to be fun. Where's the poll gone? I can't see it anymore. It's still there. It's still there. Pick one to win next season. Still voting away on it. It's close. It is close, so your vote will absolutely count. The Liverpool Prophet said, my United mate told me today, all you Liverpool fans can stop pretending Trent is levels now. I had to laugh at it. Look, I'm not going to backtrack one bit. I will stand over everything I said about Trent this season. I think he's gotten better defensively under Arne Slot. I think that's fair. But it'll be interesting to see if we become a little bit more solid now as well, because for all the good stuff we've talked about with Trent, and there's plenty to talk about because, you know, he's a good footballer, we were obviously left vulnerable in that right-hand position at times, and whether it be Mohamed Salah that tucked back on the Klopp, or whether it be one of the midfielders that tucked into cover, you know, it did cause us issues on occasion, and we were targeted in those positions. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe that changes a bit, or if it'll be rinse and repeat again with another marauding right back flying down the wing. I remember beating Palace 9-0. I remember those days as well. I remember Nigel Martin as well. Wasn't he the first £1 million goalkeeper, if my memory's right, at Crystal Palace? Right, let me see what he has in for me. Ooh, interesting. Okay, we've got some very interesting stuff in the bag coming up for you for the late night video as well. I've just had a little peek through to see what we have lined up. So do check out that one. I'll probably have it out. I'll probably have it out before 11:15. What's the crack, said Fitz, with Canade and Jota staying? Canade, I haven't got a clue. My gut feeling is that he may leave because, again, I keep coming back to, if you're so close in October, November, that Romano is saying it, that Paul Joyce is saying it, and you're really close to a deal being done, what's changed so quickly? And not just changed, but changed on a stonewall through to this point. You can't help but feel something has changed. Whether that's the ambitions of the agent and the player regarding wages, whether that's another club getting in your ear, I don't know. But I know Liverpool won't like it. And I know if Liverpool have felt close to a deal, because put yourself in their shoes. If you were close to an agreement with somebody and then all of a sudden they just start stonewalling you, or those conversations went quiet, you're probably going to feel a bit frustrated by that as well, especially if you add on what's just happened with Trent. So I want him to stay, but my gut just tells me he may leave. But I don't have a single inside bit of information to back anything up other than I said, that's just how I'm trying to look at this, because I can't see any other reason, why it isn't done. Close. What's happened? What's changed? Has it been it couldn't be the Van Dijk thing and Mo, by the way, because their contracts weren't even close to being done all the way back then when we were talking about the situation being close in October, November for Canada. So what's changed throughout that time to make this completely just hit a brick wall? The Liverpool prophet said, will Alonso do well at Madrid? Well, he's under pressure because they've come up empty-handed this season. It's got the Club World Cup, and let's see how he starts off with that one. And they'll be changing around system. Look, he's got the tools to do well. He's got the players to do well. But I hope, because I dislike Real Madrid so much, that he has absolutely zero success. And nothing against Alonso. I wish him success with every other part of his career. But I hate Real Madrid. Christer Hansen said, if you had to invite Pep or Arteta to your house, who would it be? I can't decide. I'll definitely be Pep because my wife fancies Pep. So, Pep. Simple answer, really. Yeah, my wife thinks Pep's a handsome man, so I would say, for my wife's sake, Pep. Because if Arteta came to my house, I'd probably end up arrested, in all honesty. So, would I Arteta choke him?
No.
Well, everybody knows you're only after money anyway, Sabrina, Only married to me for my extravagant wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saving up for a Domino's pizza, I am.
Yeah.
Again, why do you always come in nude?
Would you fuck off?
Don't be getting me demonetised. Would you shush with the swearing? Jesus.
You expect me to believe that you haven't sweared?
Swore.
Nobody could see me.
Everyone's embarrassed for you. Everyone. We're all embarrassed on your behalf. I'm going to have to withhold sex now for the future.
Oh no, I'll be so sad.
I know.
Sad.
I know. Anyway, do you mind if I get back to work here, love?
Maybe you could get Love Honey or somebody like that to sponsor you. And bye.
Bye. Welcome to family life. Love to all, said not Tyra. Can't wait to see Kirkes play for us. Well, hopefully it happens, my man. Hopefully it happens. I remember the video where you said you had the simple dream of owning a house. Personally, I aspire to be a better man, of who my family can admire. Yeah, that's still the dream. The dream is to buy the house. I've had a bit of a setback, as I mentioned. There's been a bit of a roadblock put in front of me in that regard. A $6,500 roadblock, but I'm still going to work away, keep saving away, and two dreams: to buy this house that we live in and to build a studio in the back garden so we can, move out of the living room and into a studio space. That's the dream. It's a simple dream though. I don't have any ambition or desire to be a millionaire or to live in a flash house. I'm very happy where I live. I'd love to be a homeowner because, as I mentioned before, I should have had about 450 grand inheritance that never came my way. As an only child, that still stings. But you guys have given me the chance to do that, and I'm very grateful for that. It's been an incredible year for me. First new car as a family. Amazing. Just yeah, I'm a very, very fortunate fella. I wonder if Pep stopped moaning yet. No, he has. He's still spitting as well. You better hope that there's never a fire around when he's gone by, because if you're relying on his spit to put it out, that fire will be burning. Oliver said, I know I'm extremely biased, but wouldn't you rather play for Arne in front of Anfield than Pep at the Etihad? Yes, for a couple of reasons, Oliver. Again, removing the bias. Don't know how long he's going to be at that club. You know, we signed an extension for 2 years. So that's probably going to be the extent of it. Then you've got the charges that are hanging over the club's head. Then you've got the fact that this season their form is nowhere near what it was. You've got the fact there's no solar atmosphere inside that stadium. All of it, genuinely, we should be a far more attractive proposition. How's little Harvey doing? Would you believe he's heading on for 3 now? He's going to be 3 in August, Harvey. He's really good. He was out sunbathing. I don't know. I've never, ever had a dog that sunbathes before. But Harvey goes out and literally lies on the deck out the back and sunbathes. You put up shade for him and all. You move his food and his water and all under the parasol. But nope. He likes sunbathing. So, yeah, he's good. Best gift I ever had, to be honest. When my wife got me Harvey, she knew I wanted a French Bulldog my entire life, but she got me one for my birthday 3 years ago, and I couldn't imagine life without him. You know, he's my best little mate. I love him to bits, and so does everyone else in the family. He's spoiled rotten, honestly. He probably eats better than I do as well. $450k, I'm crashing out. It was tough, man. I'm an only child, and I should have inherited that, but my mother remarried. She then passed away, and I got screwed out of it all. And it took, man, it nearly broke me. It nearly broke me. It did. Seeing somebody else driving around in cars that your father worked hard to pay for the money, it stings, and it nearly broke me. It nearly broke me. But without getting soppy, and this is genuinely what happened, I turned around to my wife one day and I said, I have 2 choices here. I can go down this rabbit hole of being bitter and lose everything. You know, lose my future, my mental health, lose it all. Or I can draw a line under it. I can focus on Anfield Agenda and hope that I can get us to a position where I can do it on my terms. And that's what I decided to do. I made that decision and moved past it. And again, just you can't, like Mo said, you can't give up. You just fucking can't. You know, you've got to just keep rolling with the punches. And if I can get past seeing my dad die in front of me and then my mum dying of a suicide, I can get past anything. So that wasn't going to break me. That's why I always laugh at people who think a few trolling tweets are out and are going to break me. I've been through a very difficult life to this point, and for some reason I'm still here. And I've got a duty to repay that and keep going. Right, you wonderful people. I'm going to go and record the late night news video. A couple of quick things again before we finish up. If you want to come and see us in Liverpool, you can get your tickets there. If you want to come and see us in Cork, you can get your tickets there. Jingles just gifted 50 Anfield Agenda memberships. That's incredible, mate. Thank you. We're only 14 likes away, by the way. So if you can hit 14 likes for me to get us to 1,000, that would be incredible. And as I said, someday I'll sit down and talk about my life from start to finish. Hopefully I'll get a podcast invite somewhere to do it and I can sit down and talk about it all. Because I think it would make for an interesting story for people. Just to give you an insight into what makes me me and why I am the person I am. But again, without you guys, I probably wouldn't still be sitting here. So thank you for your support. Thank you, Crystal Palace, for giving Manchester City a big fuck you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Again, Jingles, absolute legend, mate. Thank you. Do hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Check out the Clips channel and we will see you tomorrow. Enjoy. Last one for this before I forget. Is WIRTZ realistic? It is if he doesn't want to stay in Germany. If he doesn't want to stay in Germany, absolutely it's possible. But if he wants to stay in Germany, there's not much we can do about that one. But other than that, yes, the money is there. And I mean that sincerely. It is there. So right. Talk to you soon, folks. Enjoy.